Okay. Now let me just show you another part here. So we're gonna stop here first, but I want to show you now this one, which is practical 4A, which is the Inline Editor. Now the Inline Editor is a built-in editor for Dialogflow. So basically, you have a Node.js server right in Dialogflow. Okay, so it's Node.js. It's not Python or anything like that. Why it's so important to learn Node.js and JavaScript? Even Dialogflow's own built-in server uses the platform Node.js. So what we're going to do is demonstrate just the very basic of this Inline Editor. Okay, so I'm going to quickly run through this. Okay, I'm going to quickly run through this. Now this is okay, so we're going to do this really simple. We're going to do this really fast. So let's just go ahead and create an entity called term. Again, let's say it's a bot for defining things. Okay, for defining things. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create the intent. So there will be 3 intents here. Lookup start gets the lookup bot started, how to use, gives information on how to use the bot, and get definition allows the user to ask, can you define? So this get definition will use fulfillment, the built-in fulfillment of Dialogflow. So we don't have to create everything from scratch. Okay, so in this case, I want to look up something. It'll start with I want to look up something, and it will be a context called lookup start. You can do yourselves, but this one I want to focus on this one called get definition. The input context is lookup start. So this one will allow, can you define agent? And what do you mean by fulfillment? Right? So I'm just going to show you how to create fulfillment with the Inline Editor. Okay, simple, huh? So this is important fundamentals. So let's just go into Dialogflow now. So what I'm going to do here is just create the... okay, for this, maybe I shall create a new agent. Let's see. So I'm just going to create a new agent. Okay, I'm just going to call this definition. Yeah, so I'll just call this lookup bot. Okay, I'll just call this lookup bot. Let's create. You can also use the previous agent if you want. There's no rules here. The intent name is called lookup start. All right, lookup start, and then the context we're going to set as. So I'm going to add a context here. Only an output because this will be the first one. So I'll just also call this lookup start. Okay, then click save. Okay, now so there's a training phrase here. Say, I want to define something. Okay, so this is supposed to be for a definition. Or I want to look up something. What did I say? Okay, I want to look up something. Let's save that. Okay, next we'll go straight to get definitions because I want to illustrate some concept. So I'll have a new I saved this already, right? Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Let's just do that. So I want to look up something. Okay, say, oh, let's say for the fun. Okay, tell me what you want to look up. You can say things like define agent. All right, so we can do that. Or maybe I'll just put there, can you define agent, or whatever method that you want. Okay, then let's just save that. You can see things like you can define agent. So it'll prompt you to go to the next one. All right, so I'll just save that. Next, let us create the new intent. The next one is get definition, right? So this is the more interesting one, right? So this one, let's save this intent first, get definition. Let's put in some entities, right? So the entities will be called the term, right? This will be the term. So because we want a limited entries, right? We don't want to have a custom entity. Let's just, we don't have one system entity, we want a custom entity. So let's say agent. So this is supposed to define AI related stuff. So what are the some information here? Okay, Okay, this all this stuff: agent, annotation, context, default, fallback, intent, dialog. Okay, so agent, context, default, fallback, intent, dialog flow. Okay, and then what's the other one? Dialog. Okay, simple. Okay, so that's the called term. So you can imagine you could have, let's say, 1,000 terms right here for definition. Makes it easier for the bot to recognize the entity, right? If you have like specific entities. Okay, so let's go back to our intent and go under get definition. Let's just do some training phrases, right? So I want to define agent. Okay, so let's see if it will figure it out. Okay, so we annotated it and said, okay, we want agent to be a term. The parameter name now is define this term. You can change this if you want. Okay, and then let's enter that. Let's have another one. Can you define dialog flow? Yeah, so it understood that, right? You see? Very smart. Can you define default fallback intent? You see, it figured that out. Okay, so let's just have these three. Okay, so let's just have these three. Okay, so all right, so with that, what do we want to do? Okay, so let's just play around with this first. Oh, by the way, we forgot to put a context here, so let's put a context. So this one should be what is the name of the intent again? Lookup start, right? Lookup start there, so it'll trigger. Okay, let's try it. So I want to define something. No. I want to define something. This is not what I wanted. I wanted the lookup start, the trigger. Oh, sorry, I didn't say define. I wanted lookup. Sorry. Let's just do that again. Okay. I want to look up something. Okay, so it says here, okay, tell me what you want to look up. You can say things like, can you define agent? So that's good. The lookup start was triggered, right? The context is this. The intent is also triggered, right? And then you can say, so can you define agent? So there is no response, right? We didn't put a response because it's supposed to come from fulfillment. But our intent is called get definition, which is good, right? So now what we need to do is we need the bot to reply via fulfillment. So how do we do that? So what we're going to do is show you how to activate your fulfillment, okay? So the first thing you need to do is you need to go into fulfillment. Oh yeah, I need to make this enable this. Okay, then you would go into fulfillment now. Wait, let me save this first. Okay, so make sure this is saved when you do this. Then you would go into intents. You go into fulfillment. And then you have the inline editor, right? So this inline editor is your Node.js server. You see that? It's already there. It has some libraries which it's ready to use. It's already ready to use. Okay? So let's just play around with this, Okay, so make sure you make sure you enable this inline editor. That's the first thing. Okay, so unfortunately, if you saw the last part of that video, Google has made a change again, and this time, anytime you use the cloud functions, the inline editor, now you have to have billing activated. Okay, now I just want to clarify that even though you have billing activated, you don't have to pay a single thing. Nevertheless, I'll make this portion optional because I don't want people to feel uncomfortable placing a credit card number with Google. But what I will tell you is I've used the Google services, as in my course of teaching, and I've never had to pay a single cent to Google. As you can see, the requirements for cloud functions, right, to pay anything for 2 million invocations. These are like 2 million requests to the Inline Editor is free. Okay, and if you go beyond 2 million, it's 40 cents per million. So there's really no way you will be paying anything, right? What they want is basically to know that you are a legitimate user, and yeah, I mean it's like a common thing now with cloud services that they require a billing account. So, but I'm not gonna force anyone to do it. I do encourage you, if you want to try this out, just do consider, because I think it should be quite fine. And we did it as well last semester, and there was really no issue. People use the cloud functions as ordinary. Okay, but again, purely optional. Again, I apologize. It is a change from Google. It was not like this even just last semester. This was free to use, meaning you don't need even a billing account. But now you need to activate a billing account. So I'm just going to show you how to activate. Since I'm using a new account here, I'm going to activate the billing account as well. So let's just go ahead and do that. So what you want to do is go into this website called console.googlecloud.com. That's okay. So make sure you're in the same email or login as your Dialogflow account. Okay, it should be the same as your Dialogflow account. So I'm just going to show you the process here. I'll just agree to the service here, agree and continue. Okay, so it says here, as you can see, it is extremely generous, right? A $300 free trial just to get you started. Okay, it's all free so that you can try everything here without worrying how to pay, right? $300 is a lot. If you know anything about hosting, $300 could bring you a long way, years, right, for hosting. But this one is zero. Okay, and so what I will do is I'm going to select a project. Okay, okay, so let's just do that. So you can see when I select a project, I already have a what do you call this? It's already listed here. So you see that this cloud platform is connected to the Dialogflow platform, right? Let me just open that. So they're linked. So it has to be the same email. You should be able to see it there. Okay, so I'm in the lookup bot now. Okay, is there anything else? Well, actually, it doesn't seem to be anything else. Okay, so let's just is there a click activate here? Let's just see. Okay, so there you have the activate now. So $300 for free. Okay, as long as you can find a way to get to the screen, it should be fine. So I'll just read, just continue. Okay, and then I'm just going to fill up this information here. Okay, so so you have to put in your card. So this is the thing. Okay, so I'm just going to do this. So I'm going to obviously I'll cut the videos. Okay, so you can see here, start my free trial. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so it seems like it's, what's the stack status? Okay, so you just have to fill that up. Okay, so I'll just start my that free trial. So it says here, thanks for signing up. Your free trial includes $300 in credit. Okay, never mind that you won't pay anything, but they still give you $300 to try anything. So I think, class, if you're into AI and you want to try out more AI services, Google, of course, is a leader in this, no? And you see, just by that step, you have access to the entire suite, no? And we're gonna go into some other services from other providers, but okay, so basically you will know that you are okay once you go to billing, and you can see here that you have a billing account overview, payment overview, and stuff like that. Okay, see, you won't be charged until there's a balance due. You just give it a try. Okay, so that's what you should see if you are properly activated. Now with this hurdle, out of the way, let's finish up our app now. Okay, so I was right here, right? When I stopped off. So, on fulfillment, I'm going to enable this now. You can see no more annoying pop-up. Thank goodness. Right? If it complained, then I would like pull my hair out. Right? If it still complained after enabling that. Alright, so there you have it. So now let's just test this. It's a really simple thing we're gonna do. Just test. We won't be doing much coding here, but let's do a few. Okay, let's just keep all of this stuff. Okay, let's make our own. We were going to add some code for our fulfillment, right? Okay, so what are we going to be adding here? Very simple. Okay, so first we're going to add piece of code which will handle when the get definition intent is triggered. Okay, right? So what are we going to do? We're going to read the entity. So this is triggered when the intent is triggered. Okay, and then this is the entity that's being read. Just to show you can do that. So I'm just going to copy this. So what is this doing again? I hope it's 2 lines, right? I hope you can understand what it's doing. The function is get definition func. We made this name up. It has this special parameter called agent. That's already understood. And from here, this agent parameter, we can get agent.parameter term. So we are going to be reading an entity from this agent object, which is passed by Dialogflow into this inline editor. Okay. All right. So this is again Node.js. If you don't know, this is Node.js code. Of course, it looks a bit different because it's using a bunch of libraries from Dialogflow to simplify the process. Okay, and then we have here agent.add, which will say definition for the term is something. So it's reading this this entity. Okay. Now, how do you ensure that this is triggered? Well, there's another line here. Okay, so we have to add this thing. This is the one which will sort of listen in for this particular intent. Okay, so you can see that the name of the intent has to be exactly what you have in your Dialogflow agent. It has to be exactly the same. So you see, that's why this naming is important. When you have fulfillment, it's not important if you're doing static, but once you have fulfillment, because you now have to know exactly what's the name of your intent. Okay, so with that, let's just put it in. Now you put this somewhere below. You have to know where you're putting it. This one is where you place the function. Then below here, we're just following the Google style. Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna put this right here. Okay, like so, and that's it. Right. So let's just test this now to deploy. Okay, so it takes a moment to actually deploy the thing, because it's probably uploading the thing into its service. So that's one thing to remember. When you ever make changes, you have to do the step of deploying, and might take a few seconds to actually do it. Compared to maybe the custom servers a bit faster. But it's also the first time we are loading it, so it might be a little bit slower. Okay, so hopefully it'll be finished soon. So I'm not gonna cut the video. I'm just going to let it so you can more or less see what it would be like. I think this is just the first time we are running it, so maybe it's a bit longer. Or it could be my internet is poor. Okay, that I am not so sure. Okay, but this thing is supposed to change once it is deployed, but it normally doesn't take this long. Okay, there you go. So it's deployed, right? Okay, so I think we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and test this out now. Okay, so let's just go into the simulator. Okay, so say I want to look up something. Okay, so tell me what you want to look up. So let's say, can you define agent? See that? There was a response, right? Definition for agent is something. When in fact, let's go back to the intent. So in fact, when you look at this, I do not have a response, right? See, so the response was coming from this agent, right? Coming from this cloud function, this inline editor. Okay, so you see, we didn't have to set up anything. Now, take note, class, that this one here, we're going to go more into this later on. I'm just showing you that this is an option for you, which is a bit simpler, but has some, you know, as I say, it has some quirks, you know, like you have to set up the billing account and the like. However, let's look at let's look at the fulfillment now. So we got to go back to fulfillment here, and you can see that this is dynamic, right? You can change this, right? So let's say my definition, you do that. So you see, it's not static. This thing will change according to what is being done. So for example, can you okay, let's say, so again, you have to start, want to look up something. So can you define what? Dialogflow. Okay, so you might say, sir, how do I know if it's working or not, right? So what you wanted to do is go into the intent here. You can see that the intent is correct. Another thing you can do is go under, where is this? You go under Diagnostic Info, right? So Diagnostic Info, you will see that, let's make this a bit bigger. So you can see here that the intent first is correct, right? Number 2, you can see the webhook status. It says webhook execution successful, right? If there's an error, then it's not successful, right? That's one thing. You could also see the entity here. Where was the entity? See, the entity is here, right? The term. So under parameters, it found that the term is called Dialogflow. See that? So this is the way you check whether something is working or not. And that is the end of this video. So I hope that gives you a flavor now of servers, right? The options you have with Dialogflow. Again, we're going to look at both of these in more detail as we go along. We're going to take it nice and slow. So I hope you spend time trying this out, making sure it works. Okay, so that's why I'm showing it to you very step by step. And I hope it gets you excited, no, for what's coming up, no? Because we're going to build up on this. All right. So thank you for watching. Till the next video.